we continue to get closer to the 2022 World Cup. And that means this is the perfect time for more speculation. On today's episode, we'll take a look at players who are on the bubble for Iran's 26-man roster. It is time for Team Melli Talk. Who will make the final cut for Team Melli at the 2022 World Cup? Hey everyone, welcome back to Team Melli Talk. We are so close to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, and in fact, we are 1 week away from finding out the final 26-man roster for Team Melli, the national team of Iran. Now, the purpose of this episode is to take a look at players who I think are on the bubble for making that final roster. I have 7 players in mind. Let's get started. Now, this is a position where there will be no controversy. Alireza Bayramvand and Amirhossein are locked in at the top 2 spots for the goalkeeper position. I also think Hosseinzadeh is locked in as a number 3 goalkeeper. He has been on top form for Esteghlal, and he played very well for Team Melli against Senegal. The only big decision for Carlos Queiroz involves choosing between Bayramvand and Abedzadeh to see who will be the number 1 keeper at the 2022 World Cup. Now, if you're asking me, it's an easy decision. I go with Alireza Bayramvand, and this is because I believe that Amir Abedzadeh is inconsistent, and playing at the World Cup will be too much pressure for the son of Ahmadreza Abedzadeh. This is another position where there will be no controversy. Iran's 4 center backs are Mortaza Pouraliganji, Hossein Kanani, Shoja Khaliazadeh, and Majid Hosseini. As for Carlos Queiroz's dilemma, it's easy to say that Mortaza Pouraliganji and Majid Hosseini are Iran's 2 best center backs. But let's not forget that Shoja Khaliazadeh was excellent in that friendly match victory over Uruguay. This is a position where I will talk about my first player on the bubble. And the player I'm talking about is Ramin Rezaian of Sepahan. Yes, we know Ramin hasn't played for Team Melli in a few years. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He is dangerous with set pieces, and he is the perfect player to be the backup to right back Sadegh Moharrami. If Ramin does get selected for the final roster, this means that Saleh Hardani or Daniel Ismaili Farr will be cut. Now, I'm a fan of both players, but Ramin Rezaian's expertise with set pieces and his experience at this point are much more important. My 1 player on the bubble for this position, Alipour of Esteghlal. He is a central midfielder, and this is a position of crucial importance for Iran. And if he does get called up, I can see Milad Sarlak or Ali Karimi getting cut by Carlos Queiroz. Because let's face it, we know that Saeed Ezzatullahi, Omid Ebrahimi, and Ahmad Nourallahi will definitely be on that final roster. This is the position where I have the most players on the bubble to talk about. These players are Amirhossein Hosseinzadeh, Yassin Salmani, and Mohammad Mohebi. And joining me for this segment, my good friend Navid Taher, who's joining us all the way from Berlin, Germany. Navid, welcome back to Team Melli Talk. It's good to have you on the show again.
Hello, Art. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Thank you. And, let's get right into this. You heard me talking about these 3 players. I'm going to mention them again. As we know, Amirhossein Hosseinzadeh has been capped 3 times for Iran, and he's currently playing for Charleroi. Now, when talking about Yassin Salmani, he's obviously a good leader on the pitch, and he has the patience and intelligence that can help him take his talents one day to Europe. And as for Mohammad Mohebi, well, he's definitely very skilled on the wing, and he's already scored 4 times this season for Esteghlal. Now, in your opinion, Navid, out of these 3 players, which one would you say should make the final cut for the, who should make the 26-man roster?
That's a good question. So I think from the 3, I would actually personally pick Hosseinzadeh. First of all, he's been capped lately, so he's actually kind of in the team on the bigger radius. And he kind of has right now the momentum. He's in the flow. He's playing regularly, even at this young age for Charleroi in Belgium right now. Even kind of ahead of his countrymen in the play. We have big hopes in Hosseinzadeh, who lately unfortunately declined a bit. Hosseinzadeh is a skillful player, very technical, and I think we should, for me personally, I would take him because is something we might miss and could be like a very valuable player in like tricky situations and lock down a tight defense or something.
From my point of view, I look at Hosseinzadeh as the only one to choose from these three players. And my reasoning, like you said as well, he's already been capped for Team Melli, and he has the speed and the finishing skills to be a super sub for Iran at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.
No, I fully agree with you, Art, especially because he's the type of player we don't really have much in the squad yet. As you said, he can be the super sub, someone that can just break down the defense, and I think that can be valuable if we go further in the tournament. Yeah, and I know Queiroz likes players, especially that have a certain technical standard, and yeah, I think it'd be a good fit for the team, and definitely hope he gets called up.
Okay, if Carlos Queiroz decides to bring 4 strikers to Qatar, this means that Alipour and Shahab Zahedi will be competing for the final spot. Now, in your opinion, Navid, who would you pick if it was up to you? You could only pick one out of the two. Is it going to be Alipour or Shahab Zahedi?
I would personally definitely go with Zahedi. First of all, Zahedi is, I know it's not the league with the highest level, but in Hungary he's doing quite well so far, scoring, I think, 6 goals to Puskas. And different than Alipour, who's kind of a striker, but also like a second striker / winger. Zahedi is actually like a more natural center forward, a type of player we don't really have much in the squad. Even Taremi, okay, obviously scores a lot of goals for Porto and Iran, but I even see him kind of more like a second striker / winger. And I think with Azmoun, we only have this only real number one center forward. So I believe Zahedi can be very valuable, especially like in the last, as you said, super sub 15-20 minutes. If we need a goal, I think he can be the man. I don't see that quality in Alipour, especially if he, considering he hasn't been called up in a while. Same unfortunately with Zahedi, but I believe that I hope he's on the radar of colors, and yeah, I hope to see him called up because I think he's a type of player we don't have much. You might think, okay, Ansari Fahd is not a center forward, but Ansari Fahd is almost anything but like a classical center forward. He's more like a second striker, can be on the wing, can be playing the number 10, even play on number 8. So I think that type of play can be valuable, especially if you need a goal.
Now, one other thing to look at, it's easy to look at the numbers and say that, yes, Alipour has already been capped for Iran, while Shahab Zahedi has not been capped yet for Iran. But the keys that I look at most is that Shahab Zahedi is taller and he is stronger. And this just tells me that if Iran wants to be successful against England, Wales, and the United States, they've really got to emphasize that physical aspect of their game. And that's what Shahab Zahedi will bring to Team Melli.
I agree, especially as you said, considering we play 2 very physical teams, England, even Wales. They're not the easiest teams to play against when it comes to physicality. So I believe that someone like Zahedi, who also competed in kind of strong physical leagues, I think can be the key to break down these defense lines. So I think we should definitely pick him. Also, due to the fact that Alipour, he's been great last season for Maritimo, but now he's still kind of lacking form. I think he was injured before. This season, I believe he has 7 games, 1 goal. He's not really in the flow yet, still adjusting to the new club. So I think right now, form and momentum right now definitely speaks to Zahedi. Which is the thing in this World Cup, which is during the winter, is just the fact that the season is so short. The few games he had this season count much more than before when he had the whole 12-month season almost.
Navid, I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to join me on Team Melli Talk. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for asking me. It's been a pleasure.
And to show my appreciation, I want you to know that I'll be giving you one of these Iran scarves when I see you in Qatar. How does that sound?
Wow, that sounds amazing. Thanks a lot, bro. I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you.
And of course, to all of our fans, to all our viewers who are watching, if you're interested in getting this Iran scarf, you know where to find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know the handle at Team Melli Talk, or feel free to send us an email, teammellitalk@gmail.com. Navid, once again, it was a pleasure. I'll see you in Qatar.
Thank you. Take care. See you soon, brother.
Now let's remember that each team at the World Cup has to bring a roster of 26 players. This is a change in comparison to previous World Cups where the maximum number was set at 23 players. And this means that Carlos Queiroz has the luxury of bringing an extra striker, winger, midfielder, or defender. We just got to see what happens. Now, what about you? Which of my players on the bubble would you like to see make the final 26-man roster? Leave a comment down below. Always look forward to getting your input. And that's it, everybody, for this edition of Team Melli Talk. As always, really do appreciate the support. Make sure you get to our website, www.teammelitalk.com. Remember, this is your best source for the latest news on Team Melli, the national team of Iran. Make sure you find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know the handle, at Team Melli Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that notification button. See you on the next edition of Team Melli Talk.